4 o'clock, so we shall start the Planning Authority Committee meeting. Thank you for the elected members who are here, and anyone who's present here, welcome and thank you for your attendance. Apologies and leave of absence. I only have one apology, the Deputy Lord Mayor, Dr. Sherlock. Thank you. Acknowledgement to country. I just want to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the First Nations people, and I want to also acknowledge their struggles and the maintenance of their own culture for these many years. I also want to acknowledge and pay respect to the elders, past and present. Confirmation of the minutes. Someone would like to move the 7th of May minutes. Thank you, Councillor Pasalt. Anyone, all in favour?
I can't. I didn't move and I can't because I wasn't here.
Oh, sorry. I thought.
That's okay. No, all good.
I wasn't here either.
Councillor Lohberger.
Happy to move the minutes from the previous.
Thank you. Yeah, Councillor Lohberger has done. So I thought you were saying. All right, Councillor Lohberger moved. All in
I
favour?
wasn't here either, Chair.
Oh, you weren't here. Okay, so Councillor Harvey. All right.
Thank you.
Councillor Harvey. All right. Okay. So we finally got it. All in favour?
Aye.
Anyone against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Number 3, consideration of supplementary items. There be none. Number 4, indications of pecuniary and conflict of interest. Are there any? No. Thank you. Transfer of agenda items. No. Number 6, planning authority items. Consideration of items with deputation. There being none. Number 7, committee acting as a planning authority. Under the rules, we now act as the planning authority. 7.1.1, 30 Macrobies Road, South Hobart, Stormwater Works. We have Anna Wilson, who is the manager of Water Works, with us. So item number 1, if there are any questions, she will be able to answer the questions for us. Councillor Harvey, please come and sit down.
So just to confirm the location, this is further up Macrobies Road, around the gate location, is that correct?
Through you, Chair, yes, that is correct. It's just below the leachate pond. So where the roundabout is, you turn left and go in to our council, kind of the base of the tip area. And it's between there and the leachate ponds.
Because originally I thought, through you, Chair, I thought this was going to be at the bottom of Macrobies Road, but was that too big an engineering project?
Yeah, there have been a number of locations considered. The original location right at the bottom was quite complicated and would have needed us to close Macrobies Road for a period of time, as well as the other complications. So we've moved it up there.
All right. So the outfall where the sock is, that nylon sock, that doesn't catch very much other than larger objects. Is that still going to serve a purpose with the rest of that catchment, the housing catchment on both sides of the hills there? Is that the main outfall for those other streets around the area?
Yes, that's correct.
Because I was pleased with the location down the hill, because I assumed that would have caught the litter that falls out of the rubbish bins on windy days, because I think that's a contributor, you correct me if I'm wrong, to what goes into the rivulet. So are we going to miss out on catching a lot of that stuff because the GPT is up the hill under the leachate area?
Do I have to keep saying through you, Chair, every time I speak?
No, just...
Okay, just the ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, short answer is we will miss out on the downstream litter that's exposed. A significant portion of the litter comes from the tip area, so we will still capture that. We will leave the sock in place as a catch-all at the end, and I would like to look at installing pit baskets through those few streets as well to make up for that lack.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
We haven't got that factored into this project at the moment, but it's something that I am looking at installing. We'll see how the budget goes.
Any other questions?
Just one more. Is there a better model of the sock? The sock looks really primitive when you look at other litter catchment systems.
So what we're putting in the ground is a better model of the sock.
No, that is upstream, up the hill, but at the outlet where street litter might still end up being pushed into the sock, just that sock, when you go and look at the sock, it's not a very impressive litter trap.
No, I think that side entry pit baskets will be the best option.
Yep.
So rather than capturing it right at the outfall there and having something
A street,
pushing into the rivulet,
Yeah.
I think putting side entry pit baskets in the side entry pits in that whole Symes Street,
Okay.
Cascade Road
yeah,
area
sure.
is a
Like we have in
better-
the city here.
like we have in the city is a better long-term outcome.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Passal.
Through your chair to the director, is it possible, appropriate to have a advice clause in this, given the location of the GPT being upstream to where many elected members thought it was, that the council consider side inflow baskets as a adjunct?
Through you, Chair, the applicant has made an application. In this case, it's the council, and we are considering that application. Those are other works most likely exempt, so I would be reluctant to put that sort of detail on the permit, but I'm happy to raise that in a formal sense in a different context if that makes you comfortable.
Yes, yeah, I mean, I think I would like to see that raised.
supports it.
Yeah, as a budget priority.
But we've heard through you, Chair, that that's something that's going to probably happen or will happen. Yeah.
Through you, Chair, it sounds like the planning for that is still underway. I'm not sure whether that's incorporated into the current financial year. It is possible that that's the sort of thing that could Ms Wilson will probably be able to give more details, but small enough to be incorporated into next year's works, regardless of the capital works program.
Yeah, yep.
Any other?
I was just going to move the item. If everyone else is finished with questions, I'm very happy to support it, and I'll move it.
So you move the recommendation? Thank you. Any discussion, any debate?
Just very quickly to thank officers for their work on this. I know it's been important for the community, important after the storm last year, I think it was, but it is of key interest to people, the health and the protection of the rivulet with the platypus that we know so well. So a big thank you to every staff member that's been involved.
Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. You may go back. Thank you. Okay, I'll put that recommendation. All in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to 7.1.2, 10 South Point Road, Newtown signage.
Yeah, look, I'm happy to move that little sign, pretty insignificant little sign, goes ahead. And, sorry, I haven't completely read this, but the funeral parlour sign, which seems to have been there without a permit since 1998 or something, through your chair, is that something that should come down? Was there anything in the report that said that should be removed because it doesn't have a permit? Or have they now got heritage status or something that prevents it from being removed?
Through you, Chair, I might have to take that one on notice. If again, we're considering this application, so
Yeah.
if there's an enforcement relating to an unapproved sign, that would be dealt with
However, it
separately.
was mentioned in here.
Sorry,
Yeah.
we'll have to...
Because it
take
says
that
the
one
new
on.
sign's going to be near the other sign that doesn't have a permit.
Okay, I will, if there's enforcement action that needs to be taken, I'll
Yeah, I'm just curious, but I'm happy to support that little sign. I don't know what's on it though, by the way. Is there a...
Room use, I think. Of
Councillor
the,
Passal.
thank you, Chair. Just to answer Councillor
Oh, there it
Harvey's
is, yeah.
question, I think it's use of the room bookings and the like at the rowing sheds. My concern is also the funeral home sign, which is mentioned in this report. It seems that quite significant efforts have been undertaken by the applicant, which is us, I think, to not obstruct that sign, leading to a somewhat secondary placement. That's not in the ideal location because they've expressly, per the planner's recommendation, avoided covering that sign, which we don't know, according to the report, there's no documentation for, no one knows if anyone's receiving funding for it in terms of a fee being paid, there's no planning approval for, and it seems strange to me that we would then bring forward a planning application without clarifying those items, because the person trying to do the right thing in this case is getting a second-hand result because we've tried to maintain view to a sign that may well be illegal. It seems odd.
I guess, through you, Chair, ultimately, again, we are assessing an application that has been made by the applicant. If the applicant is unhappy with the placement of the sign, I guess they can agitate for something else, but I'm not too sure. Sorry, I'm just getting messages through from somebody who's watching the meeting. So we do understand that there is some approvals associated with that sign. So it's not sort of a huge concern of ours, I guess, that sign might need to come down. I mean, if there was an application for that sign to remain, I can't see that there'd be a basis to not approve that sign. Excuse me.
Sorry, Chair, through you to the Director again. We don't typically run billboards that I'm aware of, which I would describe that sign as a billboard, because it's very large, outward facing of a business that's not located at that site, so I don't really have any other descriptor for it. So why would we approve a sign like that on our land?
Well, through you, Chair, there are changes afoot on that front in the new planning scheme, in the sense that signs can, there's much more flexibility in terms of the ability to have advertising in one space for a business in another. But perhaps that's a separate issue we can take offline, and I can come back to the elected members on that particular sign. It may be that one comes down, but in terms of whether or not this one is compromised,
The report seemed to indicate that it was compromised by that sign from reading through the report. And given it's only a sign, this is an information sign, we are the applicant as the council. Yes, we're assessing it as a planning scheme, but I would still like to see our own applications optimised. So, Chair, I would move for deferral of this item until we have further information on the funeral sign to fully educate and make sure we get the best result. And before I move it, do we have a value of the works?
Bucks, I reckon.
that would be part of the application. Let me just check that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
sorry,
I've
I
just
can't
had
remember.
clarification. The applicant is actually the rowing club, not the council, but let me just see if I can find the value. Sorry, to clarify, you're talking about the value of the, so $1,000 is what has been estimated.
$1,000.
That's what's the value of the works as part of the application.
I find that difficult to believe because I don't think there's any power there. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I think that deferral is pragmatic to get clarity on what the situation with the other sign is, because I would prefer to see a legally applied for community sign board in the optimal position rather than a secondary position based on a sign that's illegal. So I'll move that and see if my colleagues will support it for the next planning meeting.
So is that okay with regards to the due date of this application, please?
Let me just check that. Expiry is the 11th of June. The next meeting is on the 11th from memory.
11th, yeah.
Let me just double check. It's a 3-week cycle. Yes, the 11th of June. So yeah, we can defer it to then.
All right. Okay, so we have a deferral motion. I put that motion. Those in favour?
Aye.
Those against?
No.
Can I speak to that?
Deferral motion, we don't debate it, unfortunately. You know, it's just put or not. So unless you want to
Now
ask a
back to
question
debate.
for clarification, I'll allow you. We don't have to just rush this. So if you have a question, I'll take the question,
Where's,
Councillor.
now, the deferral we're back to debate now.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Councillor Kelly just wants a question for clarification. I'll allow that.
I could frame it in the form of a question. No, look,
You still haven't debated.
I'll debate it. Yeah. No, it's okay, thank you.
All right.
So, Chair, I agree that the sign probably should be removed, that's on council land, that we don't have much history about, that's advertising what is a private company. It is near a cemetery, so I guess there's a synergy with the cemetery. But I'd be interested, and that's why I didn't support the, deferral, because I think we could pass this other sign tonight, agree to that, but I would like something to come back to us with regard to the removal of that other sign. I'd hate to think that, you know, over time we might end up with more clutter there if there's other signs that want to go up. So I'd rather have a conclusive decision on whether that sign should be removed or not.
Through you, Chair, just to clarify, it is, I think, just to clarify, I think the sign, we couldn't find a permit. That doesn't necessarily mean there wasn't a permit issued a long time ago that hasn't been recorded in the way that our current permits are, but I'm certainly happy to come back and provide clarity to the members to, given the points that have been raised.
Okay, thank you.
On that matter. Okay. Councillor Kelly.
Look, I concur with Councillor Harvey. Look, let's get this over the line, signed off, get it done. The other sign can be looked at, and I might have thought, if my memory is, that might have been a billboard by the rugby club to, I'm not sure if that's tied into the rugby club, but look, I think an investigation will on exploratory will to decide what's happened there, if the course of history. Let's get things done, you know. The cluttering up of things, it's not good for council's image and all that. And I know it's only a small issue and that, but it's just good, tidy homework to get things done, signed off, and then we can visit the other one. Both things can still be achieved in the fullness of time, but we're just making progress.
Any other discussion? No, so I'll put the recommendation then. Those in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Okay, carried unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll move on to 8.1, Delegated Decisions Report Planning.
So moved.
Yeah, moved, received and noted. Any questions?
I just had a question, just relating to item number 9. Is this the old Scout Hall on Main Road at Newtown? It's finally going to be having some work done to it?
Through you, Chair, I might have to check on that one and come back to you. Sorry, I'm not sure about that one.
By Newtown Road, I think it's the old Scout Hall.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes, that's the Scout Hall.
Yeah, it's been boarded up for a long time, so it's good news.
There was an application that came through that.
Any other questions? Any other comments with regards to that? So will you come back later or you? Okay. No other. Moved it. Yeah, I'm just saying. Any other questions? Still allowing any people? No. All right. So I'll put that. All in favour?
Aye.
Those against? Carried unanimously. Thank you. 8.2 Planning Advertising Report. Moved by someone. Moved by Councillor Lubberger. Any questions?
I have one that's not here, and that's a question regarding the Masonic Lodge in Sandy Bay Road. I see there's a 7-storey hotel proposal for that. Obviously, that'll be coming to us because it exceeds the...
Through you, Chair, that's a major planning application, so yes,
Yeah.
it will come.
Okay.
Councillor Passal.
Just item 11, the Royal Hobart Hospital. Which planning application is this? It says the alterations to the emergency department, which I understand is reconfiguring the emergency department from 1 floor to 3.
Through you, Chair, so we have 2 applications at the moment. One, as I understand it, is a temporary arrangement for the emergency, but then there's another application which is the longer term plan for the emergency. My understanding is that the one that's on the list now is the temporary arrangement. Sorry, no, that's not right. That one's actually been signed off.
Big
so
one.
this is the longer term. That's not the right figure, is it?
No, that was the question, is how that could possibly be 1.5 million. It's more likely to be 150 million, I would think.
Yes.
But
I don't know.
either way, if it's a $150 million development, it is the hospital. Can elected members please have the delegation? Thank you.
Any other questions? No, so I'll put that all in favour. Received and noted.
Aye.
Anyone against? Carried unanimously. Thank you very much. 9.1, approve major projects. Questions? Someone moved,
Happy to
received
move.
and noted. Councillor Patel, thank you. All in favour? Carried unanimously. Thank you. Questions without notice? Any questions? Councillor Lohberger.
Thank you. I've just got a couple. And I don't expect an answer to all of these today. Although maybe this one. Can we just get an update on the timeline for the directions paper for the Sandy Bay Mount Nelson neighbourhood plan?
Through you, Chair, sorry, I'll have to take that
That's
one.
okay. That's fine. And I guess some context here in the form of a question. Is the council aware that the population projection in that neighbourhood plan, which was held to be questionable by some people, and the directions paper will hopefully address, is actually being quoted by the university in support of its plan to sell off parts of the campus, which is unfortunate. So just a question there. And I do have a third question, which is completely unrelated to all of that. Is the director aware that it's going to be quite cold in a couple of nights when she's sleeping out for Hobart City Mission?
Through you, Chair, I am acutely aware of that, and but it's I feel that it's a worthy cause, and I'm also very mindful that it's a very almost tokenistic effort to have one night in the cold when that's some people's lives. So thank you very much for bringing attention to that issue. It's something that's quite emotional for us to deal with as officers. It's part of our job to interact with homeless people or people experiencing homelessness. So I'm happy to play a very, very small part in raising money. Thank you.
It's a sweet spot for me too, obviously. And I did donate some money to you. I encourage my colleagues to donate. There's a couple of nights to go.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No, thank you. Someone would like to move that we move to the close this meeting. Councillor Harvey.